Hi, everybody, and welcome to Story Spark. My name is Gavin.
And I'm Daniel. We're your hosts for the show. We'll be telling you guys some scary stories tonight because it's Halloween time.
You can feel it in the air, the crisp, crisp fall air. As the leaves fall around us, we're reminded of spooky stories around the campfire, and that is the premise of our show.
They won't always be spooky. It's just spooky right now.
Well, of course, yeah. It's going to be merry and jolly in like a couple months, and we'll probably be sitting out here in the snow.
Turkey Tales coming next month.
Turkey tail. Instead of fire, there will be a turkey roasting over this dryer bin.
No promises on that.
No, I don't know. I think we should promise it. I want to see how that pans out. Anyways, so how this show is going to work is we have a tray full of dice here, and these are story dice. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a title for each show. And tonight, since it's our first night, we're going to make up the title for the show. And then one by one, we're going to take turns rolling the dice.
And taking turns continuing a story until we use up all the dice.
Yes.
And if you like the show, find us on social media and give us titles for stories, and we might use them next time.
Yeah. And we'll give you a shout out, unless you want to remain anonymous.
But we'll probably shout you out regardless.
Even if it's anonymous, like at 123, we'll be like, thanks, Anonymous 123. All right, let's start the show. Well, there's a dog around here. You'll probably see her running by and trying to make us play with the ball. So I'm going to say tonight's story is The Tale of the Wandering Hound.
So it looks like a little light bulb. Once upon a time, there was a very white dog. That white dog was owned by a very happy family. They took care of it, and they've had it since it was a little puppy, and now it just turned 1 year old. It was the puppy's birthday. He was no longer a puppy anymore. And to celebrate that night, they gave him a bone. And, oh, hi. They gave him a chew toy that looked just like a light bulb.
Bakira's like, you're talking about me.
But that night, there was a thunderstorm. The little puppy got scared. And it was his first night sleeping outside. He went to go running inside, but he got lost in the thunder and the lightning. And he thought, oh, I'll use my little chew toy because it just so happened to light up. And so he chewed it and it lit up. He was trying to find his way, but he went to where the fence used to be, but it wasn't there anymore. Where was this puppy now?
Popcorn? That appears to be a great, majestic oak. So, little puppy wandering through the forest past the fence. He's wandering and wandering with his little light-up chew toy. He's kind of like Rudolph in a way.
Oh.
He feels that way, special, because he's lighting the way through the forest. When all of a sudden he hears, "Awoo!" and a in the distance. His fear grows ever stronger because this puppy is not a puppy anymore. He's a full-grown man dog. And he's like, guys, I've heard about this before. The Wandering Hound from days of yore has been rumored to live in this forest. And just as the puppy was about to round a corner with his little light still in his drooly muzzle, he sees a figure beneath a great oak. What could that figure be? Popcorn babe.
Oh.
Fair trade oak.
So we got a little globe on the dice here. What in the world could it be?
I don't know.
So, the lightning struck behind the tree. The puppy could see the silhouette. He dropped his little light. The puppy searched for it in the dark, but he dared not take his eyes off the figure in the tree. He'd see the figure still looming under the oak. The wind was blowing, creaking. The lightning struck again.
Bang!
The figure was no longer under the great wispy oak. Are oaks wispy?
No.
This one was. The puppy doesn't know trees very well. Puppy dog. He's on the verge, you know. Yeah. So, the puppy then frantically looked for his light. And then he got it and bit it. And it lit up. And before him were a pair of giant eyes. Popcorn Gavin.
The giant eyes gave one blink, whoosh, and they vanished. Oh. Into a puff of smoke. This puppy / dog, somewhere in between, a pubescent puppy, was very confused. I mean, this was his first time with the Lighty Chew-Up toy. This is his first time outside of the fence. And now he's confronted by this huge forest, all of these mysterious creatures. But the puppy finds the courage inside of his little tiny puppy heart to carry on. As he wanders more and more through the trees past the great oak, he comes across a very stark and misty bog. This bog has little tiny stones set in it that you have to hop from one to the other one. The puppy hops on the first one. He looks down. He sees his reflection.
Why is the puppy going farther?
He really wants to know what's outside past this bog.
Oh, he's a curious
He's
pup.
going out there.
Okay.
And even though he's scared of the Wandering Hound, I think he's kind of looking for the Wandering Hound. Maybe a little bit. Just maybe a bit. Or is he the Wandering Hound? I guess we'll find out with more dice. Anyways. So, he's in this bog. He peers at his reflection, and he says, "Who is this puppy I see staring right back at me? Am I a puppy or am I a dog?" And it begins this like inner monologue with the puppy. And each step he takes, he jumps. And there he sees the most glorious toy shining just beneath the water. But he dare not touch the water because he's heard tale that this water's bad.
Oh.
Then he hops to the next one and he sees a pile of bones as far as the eye can see, just glowing beneath the surface. Then he hops to the next one and he sees the word walk illuminated.
This puppy can
His
read?
puppy joy. Yeah, he can read. Well, all dogs know what a walk is. I'm surprised Big Ear isn't freaking out right now as I say it. Anyways, he's jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping. He finally finds some solid ground. And then, as the moon is cresting over the stark hill of the bog, he sees it again. A pale figure of a very large thing in the moonlight on top of the hill. Popcorn, Daniel.
So the puppy, upon the stones, he might have wet a little bit. Who knows? The stone was wet already. Can't be sure. As he jumped to the last stone, next to where he saw the very desirable toy, he peered in the water at the toy underneath it, and he was very, very tempted. His face got closer to the water and closer. A cloud just cleared from the moon, and he could see his reflection in the water. He was no longer a young pup, but there was an old pup in the water looking back at him.
Okay.
A very old pup.
How old are we talking here? Like Nosferatu pup?
Aged.
Aged.
Pup. I had a good beard going. And it startled him. It stopped the puppy from fully going into the water at first. But then he was still like, well, I really want that toy. And you know how those young pups are. That reward over risk. Or risk over reward?
Risk over reward, yeah.
Every
for sure.
time.
Every time, come on.
So, his lips started to touch the water. His little puppy fur getting on it. He grabbed the toy. And he started to pull it out. But the toy started to pull back.
Oh.
His head was under the water. He began this tug of war with the toy and whatever was holding it down there. A dark, creepy hand was holding it and pulling against it.
Sick.
It was going back and forth. The dog's head was underwater for a while.
Dang.
And then he slipped off the stone and went in, fully in. There's a little bit of thrashing, and then the pool went calm. A little bit of cricket. The moon shines again on the pool. Just then the pup emerges from the pond, toy in mouth, and climbs out of the pond with this amazing glowing toy. It kind of looked like the coronavirus. You know what I'm talking about. You see it all over the TV, the stupid little germ shape. And all around it had all these little arrows pointing out all over, all these directions. And the pup, so pleased, shook off the water and set it on the ground. And when he did, one of the arrows lit up and pointed a certain direction. Popcorn Gavin.
So, the pup has shaken off. The arrow is pointing in a very clear direction. It seems to be the general direction in which this pup has been going, over the crest, past the moonlight. All of a sudden, the pup stumbles upon a very rickety and run-down cottage, just sitting there in the middle of nowhere. The pup is very hesitant to go down to the cottage. I mean, come on. Who knows what's living there, what's going on? So the pup puts paw over paw on this little tiny gravel road all the way up to the cottage. It's made of like this old wood, so there are a bunch of cracks everywhere, and you can see candlelight pouring out. He puts his little pup face right up against one of the holes. And in the hole, he hears the most beautiful sound he's ever heard. It's like a choir of puppies singing to an amazing tune. The pup decides this is no longer a scary place, and he decides to open the door with his little snout and go right in.
Oh, so brave.
All of a sudden, the pup is confronted by all these tough-looking older dogs.
Oh.
They all have huge scars on their face, axes like hanging off of their little like. They have like puppy harnesses with axes in in like the holster. They're like Viking pups everywhere, and they're like steins of beer sitting everywhere, and they're like frothing over. Merriment, merriment, merriment. They're all so happy. Oh, you must be the pup that we've heard tell of from our friend, the Wandering Hound. You guys have heard of the Wandering Hound? Yes, we've heard of the Wandering Hound. And we've also heard of you, young Hercules. Ha ha ha. I mean, little pup. They all bust out in laughter. Then they start making fun of him. You're so scrawny to be the chosen pup. But see, he carries the lighted toy. It is pointing in the right direction. This is the thing we've been looking for all along. Then, the merriment silences as one door in the back of the cabin starts to creak open. Out comes the most Gandalf-looking pup you could ever imagine in your life. If a pup could wear a robe and carry a staff, it would be this pup. Somehow he's on his hind legs. Brr, brr. Young pup. You are here. My life has led me up to this moment. I bestoweth upon you the sacred key. Only you can use the key, and only you can find the Wandering Hound. He takes the key off his neck, puts it in the pup's hand, and then he disintegrates into dust. All the Viking pups shed a somber tear. And the pup is faced with his life's journey. Popcorn, Daniel.
The pup had so many questions, yet Gandalf dog was not there anymore. The pup went to the next largest dog that he saw near him and asked, What is this all about? The chosen pup? The ball? The key? What does it all mean? And the big Viking pup said, well, look at the mural behind you. And the little pup turned around, and there, painted on the wall, was this huge mural. And on either side of the mural was big ol' lightning bolts, symbolizing the storm. So from the storm, it showed a fence exploding. And after the exploding fence, there was a dark silhouette, a pool. There was a mysterious object with a lit up arrow and then a key shape. Almost like these dice here. There may have been a wispy oak in it too. And following the key though was just a black swirl with some little purple in it. Just a little bit of purple.
Just a hint.
And then at the other end, another lightning bolt. It might have just been for decoration though. Who knows? Maybe it's part of the story. So the pup said, well, what am I supposed to do? And the big Viking dog goes, well, you follow the arrow, obviously.
The Viking pup sounds like Rick from Rick and Morty. It's so good. Sorry.
So, the little pup left the tavern and did not have a single drink because he's not of age yet. And set out to follow the arrow of the toy that he retrieved. Popcorn Gavin.
So the pup has seen the mural. He knows he's the chosen pup now. All the Viking doggies told him, and especially the Gandalf doggy, was like, guess what, dude? Now you gotta do this. The pup is feeling very conflicted. He's like, oh man, I just wanted to have fun. I just snuck out from the fence because I'm like, life inside a fence gets old sometimes. Like, I'm a pup. I need to wander. I need to go be free. But now he's starting to miss his family a little bit. And he's starting to think about all the warm snuggles that he gets at home, and all the food, and the bowls of water that are plentiful for him to drink after he runs around after playing catch. So the pup decides to keep following this arrow.
Wow, just suddenly like that?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Sorry, there was a little backstory. After, he's been through this like crazy Viking thing and learning his destiny, he follows the arrow. And in a small grove of trees, he sees a tiny doghouse. He ventures up to the doghouse. The air grows still. The crickets that were once chirping stop chirping. Silence falls over the land and over the pup as he quivers towards the doggy house. He knows this is where the wandering pup must live. It's a very small doghouse, but he knows this has got to be where I got to go. All of a sudden, the arrow goes whoop. It just turns off.
Oh, dang.
And his little lighty toy, boop, turns into a normal toy. He puts him down.
Oh, wait, he's had his other toy with him the whole time?
Yeah, in his mouth.
He had both toys with him?
I guess so. He has 3 light-up toys. He's one happy pup.
Wait, 3 light-up toys?
If he's anything like Bagheera, come on.
I thought there was just 2 light-up toys.
Was there 3? What
Well,
was
he
the
had
arrow
his
thing?
light bulb. He had his light bulb one,
The light bulb.
and then he had
The one from the pond.
The one that's from the pond.
That lit up.
Yeah,
That's
with,
it?
with the arrows on it.
Okay, never mind. It's 2. 2 light-up toys. He puts them both down because now they're normal. They're not glowing anymore. They're not doing anything. The pup goes up to the little tiny doghouse and he sees a keyhole. He decides to put the key in the keyhole and turn it. Opening the doghouse, he ventures in. It's completely dark. There's no sound. It smells musky, like under a house in like a crawl space or something.
Ooh.
And then, boom! The pup looks up and sees huge, giant chandeliers everywhere. Classical art hanging on the walls. Just a giant, like, palace, mansion. Everything a doggy could want. And in the center of this mansion is a very wise-looking old dog in a very classy outfit, reading a scroll with a magnifying glass.
Oh.
As the pup steps in, the wood on the floor creaks and catches the Wandering Hound's attention. Popcorn, Daniel.
The Wandering Hound smacked his lips a little bit. Well, I was expecting you. Kind of has a pup Fu Manchu going on. It powders upon his lips as he talks. The little pup, kind of confused, goes, "Oh, okay. I came here with the key. I followed the mural." And the pup puts his scroll down. "Yes, just as it was written, as you will write." And the pup goes, What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, young man, I am the Wandering Hound. You are the Wandering Hound. We are the Wandering Hound." And just then, the pup shakily scooted a mirror back over, one of those big tall ones with the flip.
Yeah.
As it came over, and the little pup had aged. He was no longer just a little pup. He was now a real dog. And the old pup said, "You will find out what to do in this scroll." Ooh. The pup took his little reading glasses off. The old pup.
I was like, he had reading glasses.
And went and laid down in his bed and vanished. And the little pup knew he was no longer a little pup. Now he was the Wandering Hound. That he was set to wander. After a happy life of returning home to enjoy with his family. Obviously.
Clearly. Ow!
Oh. The end.